behalf of my co-authors, I am Ryan Johnson Yusigura, and I will be presenting our paper entitled Household Food Insecurity, Diet Diversity, and Mental Health of Coastal Communities in Palawan, Philippines. So food insecurity. Food insecurity is defined as the lack of capability to produce food and to have access by people at all times to enough food for an active and healthy life. In contrast with that, food security pertains to the ability of household to assure all its members have sustained access to sufficient quantity and quality of food. Several previous studies have shown that food insecurity was associated with low diet diversity and poor mental health. So in the Philippines, around 64% of 54.9 million Filipinos are chronically food insecure. In Palawan, 71.9% or 7 out of 10 experience chronic food insecurity that was conducted by the OST. However, the data are from across occupations, and fishermen are grouped with farmers and forestry workers, which might not reflect the actual food insecurity of coastal populations. So why it is important to study food insecurity in coastal communities? Elsewhere in developing countries, coastal communities where majority are engaged in small-scale fisheries are deemed as one of the poorest among the poor. So small-scale fisheries has a critical contribution to our economic, social, employment, and food insecurity. But despite this, they are considered as the most vulnerable socioeconomic working groups compared to other sectors. So therefore, this study aims to assess the food insecurity status of coastal communities and its relationship with diet diversity and mental health. We also assess the association of household characteristics with food insecurity and diet diversity. So for our study settings and survey populations, we purposely selected 5 coastal communities to represent different constitutional settings of the coastal communities in the region. So from island, mainland, urban, and rural. So these are Araceli, Puyo, Puerto Princesa, S and West, and Taytay, which are highlighted in yellow color. And each of coastal communities, we have selected 2 to 3 study sites, which are highlighted in red color. So study populations, there were 600 selected coastal communities households in Palawan, with at least 120 households in each of the study sites from Araceli, Puyo, Puerto Princesa, S and West, and Taytay. So this was based on the recent value of food insecurity prevalence of 71.9% at 99% of confident interval, with 10% of dropout probability. So our data, the survey was composed of 4 sections. So first is the food insecurity. So household food insecurity axis scale for the measurement of food access. And second is diet diversity for the household dietary diversity score for the measurement of household food access. So there were 12 food groups in total. So the higher the diversity score means that the household consume the more diverse food groups. And mental health, to measure the current mental health of the respondents using Filipino validated and translated World Health Organization 5 Wellbeing Index or WHO 5. And lastly, the household characteristics, which are found to be associated with food insecurity from the previous studies. So our data collection procedure and analysis. So we conducted face-to-face approach using paper-based personal interview with permission granted by the barangay. We purposely conducted between last week of November and until mid-December 2022 to avoid special holidays such as All Souls and All Saints Day from last week of November, first week of November, and Christmas season for last week of December. So purpose and objectives of the interview was discussed with the participants in the local Tagalog language. So data were encoded using MS Excel and was subjected to data cleaning. And next is clean data were exported to SPSS version 25. We use also descriptive data analysis to summarize and group data meaningfully, and correlation analysis to understand the relationship of household food insecurity axis score, diet diversity score, and mental health score. We also use the multiple regression analysis to understand the association of household characteristics to household food insecurity axis score and household diet diversity score. So what we found, this figure shows the four food insecurity category, which are categorized into food secure, which is 18.1%, mildly food insecure with 15.4%, moderately food insecure with 41.5%, and severely food insecure with 25%. So to sum up the three food insecurity category, there were 81.9% of food insecure household and coastal communities across Palawan. So the current value was higher compared to the expanded National Nutrition Survey in Palawan conducted by the OST-FNRI last 2019. So in terms of diet diversity, more than half of the households have higher diet diversity, meaning they consume 6 to 12 type of food groups in the preceding of 24 hours period, with 59.4%, moderate 32.7%, and low 7.9%. However, majority of the household source of food were mixed. It's either unproduced and purchased with 37.8%, followed by purchase with 32.8%, unproduced with 27.6%, and borrow, exchange, or barter with 1.8%. So in these figures, cereals like rice and bread, fish and seafoods, fats and oils, miscellaneous like coffee and condiments, vegetable, sugar, and honey were the common food groups that the household consumed. So in terms of mental health score, out of 100%, 66.04 was the mental health score mean of the household, suggesting that the household in coastal communities in Palawan has better mental health. So on this figure, using the multiple linear regression analysis, we tested two models to fully understand the association of food insecurity, diet diversity, and mental health while controlling for household characteristics. So results showed that diet diversity score, household children, age of the household head, gender of the household head, civil status of the household head was, and also the education of the household head were associated with food insecurity status. So regarding the result on the mental health, our analysis showed that 1 unit increase in food insecurity score was associated with 1.37 decrease in mental health score. So suggesting that households experiencing food insecurity are more likely to have lower mental health. So further to our analysis, female household head was associated with 2.94 unit decrease in mental health scores compared to male household head. So for our conclusion and recommendations, we concluded that food insecurity in coastal communities was high. We also concluded that food insecurity was associated with diet diversity and mental health. So suggesting that the household consumed less diet diversity and has a poor mental health. And household characteristics predicted food insecurity, but not the location. So we recommend to have further studies in another season of the year because the current study was conducted during Amihan. So the result related to food insecurity could not represent the situations of household in another season. Next is large samples, especially in urban samples, because we all know or confident that our samples has bigger, but if we could added more samples, so we can generate more reliable and accurate data on food insecurity status in Palawan. And lastly, encourage local food production, particularly vegetable productions, to increase the capacity of household or the coastal household to produce its own food, which is a key role in ensuring the household food insecurity. So that's all. Thank you for listening and have a good day.